Everyone, welcome to our ML Ops playlist. And this video was supposed to be the topic on Docker, but Docker will take some time for me to upload because it will be a bit longer video. So that is why I decided to start with cloud as a concept. And we are starting with AWS cloud, and one by one we will cover other clouds also in this playlist. So let's start with AWS cloud. Okay. So first, before getting into AWS cloud or cloud as a whole concept, let us understand what was happening before cloud technology. Okay. So before cloud technology existed, companies had to manage everything on their own. Okay. So imagine this. A growing company in early 2000s wants to build a web app. Okay. So what they have to do? First, they have to buy a expensive physical servers, a big noisy machines, and set them up in their rented office or in a rented store, right? And then they have to hire IT staff just to maintain those servers 24 by 7. Okay. Every file from the database customer records code are stored in local, right? Now, if traffic spikes, they scramble to buy servers, which might take weeks. Now, if traffic drops, those extra servers sit there and it's a waste of money, right? So, collaboration between teams in different locations was a headache. So, simply put, before the cloud innovation had to wait in line behind infrastructure, it was a world where technology moved slowly until the cloud changed everything. Okay, so this one a very little short story about what has happened before cloud. Now the next video will be coming up, and these are older video that we recorded before. One of my ex-colleague had recorded with me. Okay, so I'll be attaching this video to where you will come to know about cloud computing as a concept, what is that, types of cloud computing and everything. Then we'll come into a concept called AWS IAM after that video. Okay, so let's start that video first.
Hello everyone, welcome to your ML Student YouTube channel. I am Ashwini. I will guide you on how to build and deploy into an ML project on the cloud. But before we dive into the exciting world of machine learning, we need to learn the foundation with some cloud computing basics. So what's cloud computing all about? Cloud computing is like a renting a powerful computer on the internet. Instead of owning your own computer, you can use a cloud service to access resources over the web. Let's see the characteristics of the cloud computing. First characteristic is on demand access. It's like a turning on the tap of the water. You use cloud resources when you need them. For example, you run a virtual event website, you need more server power when many people register for it. Next is the scalability. Think of it like expanding your store when you have a big cell. With the cloud computing, you can easily grow or shrink your resources to meet your needs. Next characteristic is pay as you go. Just like a paying for electricity, you only pay for what you use. If your event website get more traffic, you pay bit more. If it is a quieter, you pay less. Next characteristic is self-service. No need for tech expert to set up and manage hardware. Cloud provider handle all the technical stuff for you. Next characteristic is global access. Imagine you have your file and tool wherever you go. You can access your cloud resources from anywhere with an internet connection. Now let us discuss different cloud services model. First model is infrastructure as a service. It's like a renting virtual computer. You get the basic building blocks such as virtual machine, storage and networking. For example, using Amazon Web Service to create a virtual server for your website. Next model is platform as a service. Imagine a kitchen with all the tool you need to cook without worrying about the maintenance. Platform as a service provide a platform for developer to build and run application. For example, Google App Engine for developing web app without managing the infrastructure. Next model is software as a service. Is like using web used email instead of installing email software. Software as a service offer ready to use software over the internet. For example, using Gmail for your email need. Next model is function as a service. This is like ordering a pizza with a specific toppings. You only write a code for a specific function and the cloud run them as needed. For example, using AWS Lambda to run a code in a response to event like a resizing image when uploaded. Storage as a service. It's like a cloud based file cabinet where you store and retrieve the file. Now let's explore the different types of cloud computing. First type is public cloud. It's like a renting a shared apartment. You share resources with other. For example, using Google Drive to store your photos online. Next type is private cloud. Think of it as an having your own house. Your organization has its dedicated cloud environment. For example, company's private data center for its internal use. Next type is hybrid cloud. A hybrid cloud is like owning a house and renting an apartment when needed. You keep some data in a private cloud for its security and use a public cloud for the scalability. For example, a business using private cloud for a sensitive customer data and public cloud for the web application. And there you have it. Cloud computing simplifies technology by offering flexible, cost effective, and accessible solution for a wide range of needs. If
So I hope you guys have understood something from the previous video. So now let us start with AWS. So in AWS, I will show you the UI, how it looks like, and different things in a later stage. But let me start with some a bit theory, okay? Because you have to understand a bit theory. And we are going to start with AWS IAM. As you can see, AWS IAM. IAM means the full form of it is Identity Access Management, and we are going to understand about it. Okay, so let's start. So first, we have to understand what is IAM, and it's a bit critical, but let's understand that. IAM is a web service that helps you securely control access to AWS resources. With IAM, you can manage permissions that determine which AWS resources users can access. If provides the infrastructure necessary to control authentication and authorization for your AWS account. It's a somewhat understandable, right? So what this IAM is like a security, simple, right? It's like a security that provides to AWS resources. Okay, it can manage the control of a user to access some other AWS resources. Okay, so that's all. Let's understand till this much only. Let's not think more about it. Okay, let's keep our mind till this point only. Later you will understand more. Okay, because later I will show you some analogy, some real life analogy to make you understand about IAM. Okay, so now you just keep your mind till this point, whatever I have explained to you as of now. Okay, so now let's understand some core components of IAM. Okay, so first is IAM users. What all IAM users are? So individuals with specific credentials. Credentials means their username and the password who can access AWS services. Each user is assigned permission to perform particular actions on AWS resources. Simple. Now, the next is IAM groups. It's a collection of IAM users that share common permissions. Assigning permissions to a group applies them to all its members, simplifying the management. Okay, this is IAM groups. Now, the next is IAM roles. It's a temporary identities with specific permissions, not tied to a particular user, and it is used by AWS services or users to assume certain permissions for tasks without sharing credentials. Okay, again, guys, this is the one liner, two liner, you can easily understand through it. Okay, but after this, I will again show you a simple analogy to make you more understand about it. Okay, so stay tuned till then. Okay, now the last but not the least is IAM policies. It's a documents that define permissions, specifying what actions are allowed or denied. It is attached to users, groups, or roles to grant or restrict access to AWS resources. Okay, now let's go to the next slide and let's understand what IAM does actually. Okay, so what IAM does? So let's see. So this is a box. In this box, we have many users. Okay, so these all are my IAM users. These all are my IAM users. So what these IAM users are doing? So these all individuals with some specific credentials. Okay, like let's say username and the password. Okay, so they all can access AWS resources. Okay, they all can access AWS resources. Okay, now next is who can access what. Okay, so now I will show you some services, like the name of the services, not the name, the icons of the services. What are the services that we'll talk later. But as of now, I'll show you some icons of some AWS resources or services. Okay. So this is one of the service inside AWS, and it's a tick. Now this user can access this AWS service. This is the another AWS service, but this user cannot access this service. There is another service that can be accessed by this user one. Okay, likewise we have another user, we have another AWS service. This cannot be accessed by this user, but the next service can be accessed by this user, and the very next service also can be accessed by this user 2. Okay, so this is what IAM does. It restricts that user to access specific AWS resources or services that you define, that okay, what services this user should be able to access and what services this user should not be able to access. That's what you do using IAM, and that's what IAM does. Okay, but before that, let's understand IAM with some simple analogy. Now I have tried to explain to you things, but now let me explain things to you in a simple, very simple analogy. Okay, so let's start. So imagine AWS as a vast international airport, bustling with activity. Okay. Now to ensure smooth, to ensure smooth operations and security, the airport employs a system to manage who can go where and do what. Right. And the system is akin to IAM or AWS IAM. Okay. Now each airport staff member, okay, be it a pilot, flight attendant, or a ground crew, has a specific role and access level, right? So this is equivalent to IAM users. In AWS, an IAM user represents an individual with specific permissions to access AWS resources. Likewise, here this airport staff member has a specific role and the access levels. So they all are IAM users. Okay. Now, then This all stuffs are organized into departments, right? Security department, maintenance department, or customer service department, each with defined responsibilities, right? They all have their own responsibility. So these all are departments, right? And this is equivalent to IAM group. IAM group allow you to assign permission to multiple users simultaneously, streamlining access management. And that's what happened here for all the departments, right? Now the next is, let's say we have a contractor or we have a visitor, okay? They may receive some temporary passes, granting them some limited access to certain areas, right? For a specific duration. And this is equivalent to IAM roles. IAM roles provide temporary access to AWS resources, ideal for external users or services requiring limited time permissions. Okay. Now, the last part was pending, that is about IAM policies. So, how do I explain IAM policies here? So, let's say, see, airport has some rules dictating who can enter secure zone across control towers or handle baggage, right? So, this thing is equivalent to IAM policy. IAM policies in AWS define the permissions granted to users, groups, or roles, specifying what actions they can perform on which resources. Right? So, this was the very simple analogy about IAM through some airport example. Okay, I hope you guys have understood. If you haven't, please watch this video again to understand it. Okay. Next. Now let's do some practical now. So we have an example one, the demo that we are going to show you. Creating an IAM user with limited S3 access. So now what we are going to do, we are going to create one IAM user, and that user has some, will be having some access only S3 bucket. Okay. So for that, let me go back to the page inside AWS. So right now I am inside AWS. Okay. How you can log in inside AWS? Just Google AWS Management Console. You can reach here. Okay, just click on it and log in. And you may find a bit different UI when you log in. If you're logging in for the first time, you may not be seeing these services because I have been using these all services. That is why I am able to see these services, but you may not be able to see it. Okay. So first, if I explain few things here in AWS, if you see this, these all are regions. Okay. These are all our regions. North Virginia, Ohio, North California, Mumbai, Osaka, Seoul. So these all are regions. Okay. So in each region there are many availability zones. And we can pick up any one of them. We can pick any one of them and we can create our resources, do whatever we want. Okay. So as of now you understand till this point only. And another thing is that if like right now I'm selected North Virginia, right? Now if I am creating any of the services in AWS inside North Virginia, I cannot see them if I go any other region. If I go any other region, I will not be able to see those services. Whatever has been created inside this North Virginia. Okay. So you understand till this much, okay? That much will be fine for us as of now. Okay. So now I am inside OEO region, and now what I'm going to search here, I'm going to search about IAM. Okay. Let's click on it. Let's open a link in a new tab. Okay. So right now, if you click on here, this user section. Right now you can see already I have created one user before called admin. But let's create a new user. Now to create a new user, you need to click on this create user button. If I click on this create new user, I can give the username. And let's give the username like user1. Okay. Let's click like provide user access, or let's keep it unchecked as of now. Let's click on next. Now, what I want to give? What I want to give? I want to give them access of S3 bucket. Only S3 bucket. Nothing else apart from S3 bucket. So for that, I am clicking on this attach policies directly. And now here you can see that many policies are there. But what I want them to only get the access of S3 bucket. So I'll search S3. What is S3 bucket and all, you don't have to think about it. I will explain that to you later. But think like S3 bucket is some service of AWS. You understand it this much. It's a service provided by AWS. Simple. So now what I'm doing, I'm searching in the permission policies S3 bucket. Okay. S3. Hold on. S3 only S3. Let's search only S3. Okay. And if I just expand it a bit, can you see S3 full access? So what I want this user one should be able to access only S3 bucket, nothing else apart from it. Right? So for that, I can pass Amazon S3 full access. I just check on it or click on it. Okay. It's done. Come below. Click on next. See, this is the user one. No console password type, nothing. What is the permission summary? Amazon S3 full access, right? Then create the user. So it's creating the user now. Our user is created. Okay, our user is created. Now, if I click on this user one, can you see in the permission policy we have only Amazon S3 full access. But now, how do I use this user one? Right? Now, I have created an user as an admin that we understood. But now, how we use this user one? So right now, if you see here, my name is there, right? So I am the admin. It's my personal account. I am the admin. That's why my name is there. What do you have to do? First, first, what you have to do, you have to create some access key. Okay. Or what we can do, we can go inside the security credentials, right? We can go inside the security credentials. Then we can click on this enable control access, console access, sorry. Enable console access. If I click on this enable console access, it'll ask something like enable console access, then enable console access, auto generated password. Okay. And okay, user must create a new password next to sign in. Let's ignore that as of now. Let me explain. Right now we do not have any way to log in that using this user one account. For that, what you have to do, you have to click on the security credentials. I hope you guys can recall, when I was creating that user, I was not checking that access inside console, right? I mean, see this, what you can see, whatever you are able to see now, this is the AWS console, and I have not provided this user one to have some access like AWS console. I have not provided that access to him. I now what I want to give him that access. So for that, first I have to enable that access. So for that, what I have to do, I have to click on this enable control access. If I click on this one, it will ask some auto generated password. Okay, it will generate a password automatically. And if I check this one, then once you log in, user has to or user must create a new password at next sign in. But right now it is a demo, so I am not checking this one. I will be going with auto generated password. Okay, auto generated password. And I click on enable control access. Yes. So right now we got three things here: console sign in URL, username, and the console password. That's what we got, right? So I'll just copy this one. I just copy this URL. I'll go incognito window. I'll paste it and I run it. Okay. So should be working. Okay, yeah. It's running now. Yes. So can you see automatically this account ID or alias is getting uh, uh, filled here. Now I have to pass the IAM username. How can I pass the IAM username? This is the username. I'll again copy it from here. I'll pass the username here. Now what is the password? Password, take it from here. Then I'll paste the password here. Okay. Then I click on sign in. So when I clicked on sign in, Can you see same thing is coming? Same UI, same console we are able to get now. But now, but now, when you have logged in for the very first time, you might have seen this kind of page only, right? Because in this new user, I have not used any services and nothing. That is why you can say nothing is here. But now I have given S3 access, right? That means this account should be able to have access of um, S3, right? Even can you see access denied things are coming up because this user does not have any access of other services except S3 bucket, correct? So if I just click on S3 or search S3 here, S3 bucket, and just open link in a new tab, yeah. So we are able to we are able to see all the buckets, right? But, but, but if I search about any other services, there is a service called EC2 inside AWS. That I'll explain to you later, but it's a service. Again, it's a service. But now if I click on this one, if I want to use AC2, if I click on this one, let's see what's coming up. See, nothing is coming up. It's showing API error. Error occurred. Why these things are coming? Because this user does not have access of any other services except S3 bucket. And that is why this is coming up. So this is one of the examples of how you can create an IAM user. And this is how it looks like when you create an IAM user. Okay. I hope you guys have understood it now. So now if I go back to my PPT again, so this was the demo or the example one that I have showed you. Now let's go to the next example. Example 2, using IAM groups to manage permission. How are we going to do that? So let's say we will be creating a IAM group. The group name will be dev team, and that team will be having access of AWS DynamoDB and AWS Lambda. Okay. Again, these are services of AWS, and out of these services, how it they work, that again I'll explain to you later. But just understand that okay, these are the services, and this dev team should have access of all of the services. So let's do that. Let's go back to our this AWS page, and let's go back to our normal page. Uh, yes. So I click on close button here, and if I click on users, I have user one, right? So now what I do, I will create another user. Same way, user create user two. Now I will check this one. Okay. Now I check this one, or I want to create an IAM user. Okay. I am now checking this one. Previously, when I was creating that user one, right, I was not checking this one, but this thing I am checking now. And I have selected that I want to create an IAM user, and password should be auto generated. Okay. User must create a new password at next sign in. I don't want that, so I'm just disabling it. Okay. I don't want that as of now. Okay. Now I click on next. Again, I'll go to attach policies directly, and I will give access of a service called, let's say, Lambda, or not Lambda, let's say EC2. Okay. I will give access of a service called EC2, Amazon EC2 full access. That means this user will have access of Amazon EC2. Okay. So then click on next, create the user, create the user. Okay. So I have the user now. Can you see? Again, same console login, sign in URL, username, passwords are coming. So we are not going to do that. Our main focus is to understand about IAM groups. So if I click on this users part now, okay, I don't want that file. Okay, fine. This user one, this user two are independent. So user one having access of S3 bucket, user two is having access of EC2, right? But now, but now what? But now, if I click on this user groups, there are no group, right? There are no group. I'll click on create group. I'll click on create group button. So what I want, first I have to pass the group name. Let's give the group name called dev team. This is my group name, dev team. And who will be our part of my group? So this user one will be my part of will be a part of my group, and this user two also will be a part of my group. So I want these two users should be a part of my group. Okay. Now fine. I have selected these two users. But now what I have to do is I have to give a access of what services? AWS Lambda and DynamoDB, right? So for that, what I have to do? I have to search DynamoDB. I have to search DynamoDB. DynamoDB full access. Then Lambda. If you search Lambda full access, I have checked both of them. I can below create the user group. So I have created a user group called dev team. That means now whoever are part of this group will be able to access AWS Lambda, AWS DynamoDB, both of them, right? So let's check, like, do they really have the access or not? So as you can see, guys, I logged in the user one account. If you see user one that I logged in previously, and it was not having access of DynamoDB or Lambda, right? But if I just refresh the screen once, just refresh the screen for one time, yes. Now if I just search Lambda, if I just search Lambda, okay, and just open it. So right now we do not have anything. We can create a function. But there are no errors, right? There are no errors, nothing. That means we are able to access AWS Lambda, right? Now, if I search DynamoDB, if I search DynamoDB, if I try to open this one, see, still there are no errors. If I click on something, let's see, create a table, if I click on this, see, there are no errors, nothing is coming. That means this user one is able to access DynamoDB and Lambda, both of them. But now if I search EC2 again, if I search EC2 again, I am getting API error again. That means this user does not have the access of EC2 instance. And even the group that they belongs to, even they do not have the access of EC2. That means this user does not have access of EC2 instance, which is a service of AWS. Right? I hope you guys have understood it now. So now let's go back. So this thing is also done. Now the last is example 3. Assigning an IAM role to an EC2 instance. Okay. Assigning an IAM role to an EC2 instance. What are we going to do? We are going to create one EC2 instance. Okay. And after that, we are going to give S3 bucket access to that EC2 instance. Okay. What is EC2 instance and all, they do not have to worry about it. That will come later. That will come very late. But just understand again, they are services. And one of the AWS service called EC2 will have some access of another AWS service called S3 bucket through some role, IAM role process. And that demo I wanted to show you. Right? Okay. So let me just go back to this page. Yes. So yeah. So what I want now, I want some role to be created, some role, right? I want to create some role. So for that, see, there are many roles are already there for us. But I want to create my own role. That means I'll click on create role button. Okay. Now it's coming. Like the many entities are coming. Hacker account, web identity, custom trust policy, and all. Let's forget. As of now, let's choose AWS service. Okay. Which AWS service? So which AWS service we want to use right now? I want to use EC2. Can you see EC2? Under commonly used services, the other services are also there. All services are there. But what I want that EC2 instance. Okay, I want the EC2 instance. I click on the next. Now, what permissions I want to give to that EC2? What permission? Permission is that EC2 should be able to access S3 bucket. And the access name is get object. I think if you recall in my PPT, if I come back to my PPT, S3 get object. What is this get object? Get object means that it can only get the object from S3 bucket. It cannot modify it. It cannot write anything. It just can get it. That's the only access I want to give it. Okay. So how to do that? Let's go back. Let's go back here. If I search S3 only, you will see many things, many policy names, S3 read only and everything, right? So if I just click on this S3 read only access, S3 read only access, so that's what I want. You only can read my data. You can only read my data. You can't do any write on my data. You can't modify my data. I do not want you to do that. So that is why I'm choosing this read only access. Okay. Even if you click on this one, if you click on this one, it will direct you to some other page. And if you come below, entities attached or maybe policy versions. So what I want that EC2 instance should be able to read only. It cannot do anything else, right? So that is why if I click on next, okay, if I click on next, we can pass any role name like any role name, a role S3. Okay, you can pass any description, and this is a JSON file of it. Okay, it's a JSON file where we are assuming the role of it, and then we are providing only S3 read only access. We are providing only XP read only access. Then create a role. Okay. So our role S3 is created. If I just refresh, search role S3. Search this. Let's see where is the role S3. Yes. So can you see? Now AWS service EC2 will have the access of only S3 bucket. And that's our only read only access. Only read only access. It can't do anything apart from reading the data. Okay. So that's all, guys. I just wanted to show you about IAM. In the later videos, we implement more things, so we will get to know how these different AWS services works. But that's all I wanted to show you guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. This video could be a bit long video, but I hope I was able to explain you things properly. So thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.